I blame Bobby Brown for Whitney Houston's death. Not that he was there and he shot her or drummed or whatever, but it seems as if, and the information we have is that he introduced her to the drug culture. And I can't rule out that as a young girl in New Jersey, she had been experimenting with marijuana and I don't know what other drugs she might have. But it's believed that he introduced her to the major drug activity. She had fame and wealth and so on. And I think this is what killed her. So I could extrapolate with belief that it's he who introduced her to this lifestyle and killed her, therefore he killed her. I mean, it's not logical, but that's my conclusion. However, I do hope that the confidence she exuded basically was, her own motivation and substance that basically, assist her there. And I see Johnny Mathis had been famous in the 60s, but he's still alive today and he could deal with not being famous. And I think that celebrities have to be able to deal with that too, fame and non-fame. While every act you do, you expect it to make a name for itself, expect also that it may not go anywhere and just be able to deal with it. So the drug thing that she started or continued or intensified with Bob Brown seemed to have finally knocked her up. I mean, she was this effervescent, beautiful, talented young lady, and how she looks at even at 48 looked washed up. I mean, drugs will wash you up for real, and it's highly probable that it's a combination of things that knocked her up there. You see people staggering on the street, the drunk will fall and they can't even get up. Now if they had fell into some pool, they could drown right there. Yeah, that's one way. They're struggling to come up, but the mind is not. The mind is overpowered by the poisons, and so it's not functioning right. And areas that are responsible for coordination, all these activities and so forth, are kind of like suppressed, and they behave as children. And so prescription drugs, heroin, crack, cocaine, marijuana, and alcohol. Any of the illegal drugs, prescription drugs, and alcohol will do that. They recommend that you don't use alcohol with some prescription drugs, not just illegal drugs. It will kill you. And so I'm sure she started to feel uncomfortable. She believed that if she were bathed, she would relax in the bathtub and be able to get a little rest and sleep over this thing and get up and be able to go on with her life. But maybe the level of intoxication or the sudden increase in the intoxication from things that she ingested probably overcame her, and it's like just falling asleep and then it gone into this semi-unconsciousness or into a state where you become unable to even help yourself, so slid into the pool maybe to get a little more comfortable and then walked. When I say pool, I mean the bathtub, and then end up being submerged. It's a tragedy, but it's just waiting to happen. Perhaps if she hadn't, the culture of if you bathe, you feel relaxed and feel better and everything's good, she'd go on and lie down to sleep. The only thing that probably could have happened is if she were to vomit and, didn't get a chance to come to veterinary areas to drown her. But then, of course, if it were that it's a stroke or it's a heart attack, then even on the bed would have helped. Wouldn't have helped, though. Coming in and seeing her, she would have been able to respond to his work. Now, they were doing CPR for about 30 minutes, and if after the 25th minute, they were able to resuscitate her, she would have still been on what's the word? Should have been brain dead to the extent where she becomes like an invalid. I'm sure they didn't make a decision, this time we better stop because if she comes back, she's going to be a vegetable. They were really hoping that she could, really come back to life, but that was too late. But if she were in the bed or on the floor, it might have worked because she wouldn't have been drowned. The lungs wouldn't have been cut off from the oxygen by water. and she might have still been breathing, just to take her to the hospital, maybe give her some medications, take out whatever is poisoning her system, and so forth. And so this is just speculative in like what could have caused her death. Though that's all we can say right now until we get the results. I can't wait. I mean, I have to say something I believe, and from her past, you could really speculate real quickly that a combination of alcohol, prescription drugs, and illegal drugs will get you. And Bobby Brown was saying that he's gonna miss her and all that. I hope that he hadn't introduced her to this thing, and maybe she would have had a different lifestyle, or if she had just stayed in New Jersey and continued singing her choir. She would have had more kids, maybe had a more fulfilled life. Because you see, the Bible says, "What does it profit a man against the whole world and lose his soul?" And sometimes we go after the fame and the floodlights and so forth, and that's all we have. This name and this yeah. But deep down there's this hollow inside. The money and the fame can't compensate for what we really need. So we go to the extreme with the drugs and all that. But I do hope that our daughter doesn't be trapped like this, and that she takes the legacy of the wonderful Whitney Houston that we know, and she takes it to the next level. Stay away from the Bobby Browns, stay away from the illegal drugs, stay away from the alcohol, stay with God. Forget the entertainment voodoo and the Hollywood voodoo. We don't have to sell your soul for fame, because you end up without no fame and lose your soul. So all we can say is hope that she qualifies to go to heaven, because sometimes the way we die, we don't have a chance, to talk to the master just before it's over and say, forgive me for all I've done. I love you, and I would love to see you and so forth. See him smiling and in your mind, and just go on. But to be drunk, drugged out, I think God is far away from that. So I'm just hoping that it went a way in which she still could have, talked to her maker, creator, and set up that security that we all would want when it comes back through the azure skies. She has the exuberant joy of joining that celestial party and sauntering back to heaven and spend the rest of her life in eternity.